All right.
Alrighty, so we've got everything. Let's get on with the goddamn show. I guess that's my second catchphrase that is coming up. And who doesn't want a "Let's get on with the goddamn show" T-shirt, which maybe one day we will have, along with
Or
it.
a ragtag group of rogues.
Yes, exactly, a ragtag group of rogues shirt. Maybe one day we will, and you too can have your very own "Why Does This Exist" merchandise. But until then, check us out on all those mediums. Like, comment, subscribe, fund us on Patreon, and be a very good boy, girl, other.
Take your vitamins, say your prayers.
Listen to Zamboni. I don't know.
No, don't listen to
Don't
Zamboni
listen to
because we'll
Zamboni.
get sued.
Yeah, you're
Listen
right.
to
Listen to Nuclear
Hatred.
Hatred. Alrighty, so Blowfly was we've got this dude here. He's like a combination between he's not quite comedy, he's not quite punk, he's not quite rap. He's like every genre rolled into one because he's a parody artist, and he was on a punk rock label towards the later parts of his career. He was on Jello Biafra of the Dead Kennedys record label Alternative Tentacles, and Jello actually appeared on like one of or a few of his songs, which is actually kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But he's influenced just about everybody across the rap game as well as like the punk rock game.
Mm-hmm.
And for whatever reason, he never got that big break that he deserved, but it was just really interesting. There's a documentary on him too called "The Weird World of Blowfly" that I think it won an award at a film festival. But you can watch it.
Sundance.
I think it was Sundance, but you can watch it on YouTube for free, which is kind of nice, and you could probably find it on like Amazon or something as well.
South by Southwest Festival.
Oh, okay, South by Southwest. Thank you. I enjoyed it. And I thought it was really interesting to just see him in his life. I mean, he was about 69 years old when this came out.
Mm-hmm.
So he wasn't he was towards the end of his life, but it was him and the rest of his band members and like his drummer / manager, and just like it gives you the ins and outs of what it's like to be in a band where like you're not always going to get along with everybody you work with, because like when you're in a band, it's like being in a family. It's like a new family.
Yeah.
You know, like you're like you've got your wife at home or you got your family at home, but you've also got your band, and like there's going to be, you know, these other personalities that you got to meld with too. And sometimes it's hard to like, sometimes it's really hard to get into arguments, and in the documentary, I really liked it because it didn't shy away from that. It doesn't, it didn't, like, it really captured what it's like, the whole essence of what it's like to be a band, the good and the bad. And, you know, like you see all the different personalities at work and just all their quirks. And it's really interesting. And it just shows all these like weird little things coming together. And they also like tell you a lot about his life too. Like they talk like they get his mom, who was surprisingly also still alive at that point in time, because like I said, he's 69 years old at that point.
Yeah.
So it's kind of surprising, but he, you know, and his daughter actually, his daughter speaks a little bit too, and his son, his kids look a lot like him, but he wasn't really there a lot, because he was always on the road or in the studio. But his daughter is a WNBA player.
Yeah, she was a former professional basketball player.
What's her name now? Tracy
Reed.
Tracy Reed. So, yeah, Blowfly, born Clarence Reed. He also, like as Clarence Reed, he was always in the music business.
Yes.
So like Clarence Reed just always he always was writing, and he produced a lot of hit songs actually.
by big artists of
Yes.
the 60s and 70s. A lot of soul and R&B artists, like Betty Wright, Casey and the Sunshine Band, Bobby Bird.
He discovered Casey and the Sunshine Band, actually.
Wow, that's crazy. I didn't see that. I didn't know. I thought I knew he had. You know, I did obviously reading. It's crazy because I've never heard of Blowfly before we decided to do this podcast, and when I was doing research, I was like blown away about like how prolific, you know, like all the bands that he like produced and wrote for, plus like all the rappers that like took like influence from him and like sampled his songs that I had no idea. You had like Easy E sampling him. Who else?
DMX,
Let's see, Wu-Tang
Snoop
Clan,
Dogg.
DMX, Snoop Dogg, like Big Daddy Kane. And I've never heard of Blowfly before this. And like, I mean, I've listened to a lot of those bands. I've listened to Wu-Tang Clan, Eazy-E, you know, and I've never heard of Blowfly before. So especially the fact that he was the first, like, you know, claim to invented rap, you know, that is another thing. It's like that I've never heard before. I was obviously, you know, when you think of like the progenitors of rap, you know, you think of like you know the Sugar Hill Gang, and like Run DMC is often like one of the first rap groups, you know. So like the fact that, you know, Blowfly was doing this, like, you know, almost a decade before them, you know. Sugar Hill Gang, you know, Rappers Delight came out in 1979, so and Blowfly was released his first album in 72 or 73. So it's like, it's crazy because it's he just kind of got like swept under the radar a little bit. I know when I was reading it was saying that he actually lost a good, like the rights to most of his songs that he wrote. He actually was forced to sell off the rights. Yeah. Because he was basically broke, so he was like forced to sell off the rights to his music.
Yeah, he had to pay off. He had a lot of debt.
Yeah,
and he was forced into it. They talked about it in the documentary too, actually, and like it shows a few of his like other friends that like worked in the music business and like they, like his drummer was talking about it too, and they all just like, he was the kind of guy who, when he had something in his mind, he, like, you couldn't talk him out of it. He was just gonna do it, and it was like he had no qualms about it too, which like you would think that, you know, a guy who was like, damn it, I have to sell the rights to my royalties, and the royalty rights apparently were worth millions.
Yeah,
and he didn't really have a whole lot of money when he was like towards the end of his life, but he figured, you know, I'm 70 years old, like, who cares? Like in the documentary, he's like, it doesn't matter if it's worth $1 million tomorrow if I don't have 20,000 today. So like, you know, like just essentially saying, well, all right, good, like, so what if it's worth money, but like I didn't need that, like I needed money then. I didn't need to wait, like I couldn't wait for the money. Like otherwise I was going to be homeless, and like then what am I going to do?
Right.
But like everybody else was like, I told him not to do it. He kept saying, like, he was saying that he's going to have to do it, and I kept telling him don't do it, to take a bigger offer. And you know, he just said, listen, I got to pay off my debt, so I got to do what I got to do. And he didn't really care. Which it speaks to the kind of person that he was, where he just wants to he just wanted to make music. He just wanted to make people laugh and just bring people together. He didn't care about whether or not he was going to be wealthy. And also, like, when you're in your 70s, and you know, you really, well, I can't say the same for every 70-year-old person, but like, I think when you get towards the later parts of your life, if you're a good person, if you have a good heart, I'd say towards the end of your life, you're not thinking about, you're not thinking about getting rich, or you're not thinking about succeeding or whatever. Like, you're kind of happy with your, like, maybe not happy, but like you're okay with your lot in life.
Yeah.
You know, and I think he definitely, was.
Well, I mean, he certainly had a pretty illustrious career, despite the fact that he never really was successful because of it. He did work with so many big names, even in his later years when he was doing the punk rock thing and he was, on Jello Biafri's label, like you said, it's, like he had, he didn't, I guess he was like the ultimate punk rock kind of guy because he had such a successful career and was so like, popular, worked with all these different people, but at the same time was like pretty much broke. So it's like, you almost could say like the same, it's like, that's like the ultimate punk kind of thing where like, he's like living the punk lifestyle basically of just being a rock star, but like also broke.
Yeah.
It's also interesting. You could say he was like probably one of the first artists to like really push the parody thing, the parody songs,
Oh yeah.
and brought them to the mainstream. It's crazy to me that with the like what he was doing in the 70s, because like, you look back to the 70s and music was really not. I mean, obviously there was some bands that cursed and did like a little bit more racy lyrics, but like his were like just like like I can't believe he got away with it back then,
Oh yeah.
Like you have like, instead of like he did the parody of "Sitting on the Dock of the Bay" by Otis Redding, his version is "Shitting on the Dock of the Bay." It's like the fact that he got away with that is in the 70s is like beyond. But I guess that was before the whole the PMRC thing in the 80s. So
Yeah,
it was kind of the Wild West still a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, also like I feel like his albums would have just gone under the radar. So like they might not have even gotten that label,
Yeah.
Because I mean, also I feel like the people who knew that like his fan base knew what they were getting.
Yes.
So he got the name from his grandmother, actually.
Mm-hmm.
He was about 5 or 6 years old or something like that, and things were segregated then. He was born in 1939, died in 2016 at the age of 76. Things were segregated, and he was born in Cotran, Georgia, or Cochran, or Cotran. I don't know how you say that. He was born in
Cochran.
Cochran, Georgia, I guess. And he later moved to like West Palm Beach, Florida, when he was when he was a little bit older. But he things were segregated, and there was like racism was just like a rampant everyday thing in America, especially in the South during those times. And he used to from the documentary, he said that he would take whatever the popular music was. He would listen to the lyrics in the club, and he would just think, okay, well, how can I piss off the white folks? And he would take the lyrics and he would say, I know, I'll start cursing, and I'll make the lyrics of their favorite song so dirty that they'll get mad, and there won't be anything that they can do about it. And he would do it, like whatever the popular thing was, he would just do it. And actually, here's the quote: "In Hillbilly, you find some of the best lyrics and morals. I used to listen to Homer and Jethro, and they would rap most of the time, only they didn't call it rap then. They used to call it soul talking. As a form of revenge, I would take songs like The Twist, and I would change it from 'Come on, baby, let's do the twist' to 'Come on, baby, and suck my dick.' And my grandma would say, 'That's terrible. You're a poor excuse for a human being. Child, you're nastier than a blowfly.' And then there it was. But also, the other thing that he had noted was he would do it, and it wouldn't piss off the white guys. Sometimes, like, they would get a chuckle out of it, and
Yeah.
they would give him money. So, like, it ended up having, like, the opposite effect, and he was just kind of like, oh, they want to give me money for this. All right, I'll keep doing it. So,
Yeah.
that kind of stayed with him in the back of his mind. And, like, during the 70s and 60s, he would write and produce for, like, the top art for, like, you know, very popular artists, like we had mentioned before. And he also was recording his own songs as well. And then one day he started just writing, like, you know, the explicit hits for, like, friends and stuff at parties and stuff. And he just recorded them under the name Blowfly, and he would just do it as, like, you know, it started out as like a joke, and then it just kind of, like, took off and, like, took a life of his own. Like, his wife, or like his ex-wife, or his then girlfriend, I'm not sure whether or not he had married her, but he had his children with her. And he, you know, she was like, she didn't know what he was doing, but she was, you know, he'd come home late, and she'd say, you know, what are you working on? And he would say, I've got this thing. Like, they would, you know, I guess they would pillow talk, or they would just talk, and he would just say, like, listen, I got this thing that I'm working on, and I got this idea. And she was like, okay. And he wouldn't really talk too much about it. And that was the Blowfly thing.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool how he just did this.
Yeah. He did actually. So he did end up in legal trouble over doing one of his songs. He was sued by songwriter Stanley Adams, who was the ASCAP president at the time, for spoofing the song "What a Difference a Day Makes," which was written by Stanley Adams, into "What a Difference a Lay Makes." So it did land him in some legal trouble. Actually, very reminiscent of when Megadeth got sued because of their cover of "These Boots," because Dave Mustaine had changed the lyrics to be, like, dirtier, and ended up, like, being sued by the original writer of that song as well.
Yeah, Nancy Sinatra.
Yeah, no, it wasn't Nancy Sinatra who sued him, because she just sang the song. The songwriter actually sued him.
Interesting.
And that's when they reissued when they reissued "Killing Is My Business," they had to, like, bleep out the lyrics.
Yeah, they bleep out, like, half the song.
Yeah, they bleep out any of the lyrics that were changed, basically. So I don't know. It doesn't say what happened with this case with Stanley Adams, who sued Blowfly. I mean, parody is covered under fair use, so
right. Well,
I don't know how
then.
successful. That's true. It might not have been.
Then.
I mean, I think it was, because, you know, Weird Al was doing his thing in the 80s. His first album came out in the early 80s.
Yeah, but when did this song come out? And also, like, it was a dirtier thing too. Like, maybe
that's true.
Because, like, Weird Al's parody was clean. It's always been clean. So if you're gonna do,
well, I think,
and he may have, and I think I had seen something where he said that he had paid royalties even though he didn't have to.
Yeah, Weird Al, what he does, he doesn't pay royalties because he doesn't have to, I don't believe. Because, again, his songs are covered under fair use. Parodies are covered under fair use. But no, he asks permission for every artist that he parodies.
Oh, okay, that's different. Because then he has it in writing, and then if they try
Which,
to,
again,
like, turn
he
around,
doesn't have to do. Right,
yeah.
And he doesn't actually have to do that because it's covered under fair use. The only person that's ever, like, reneged on that was Coolio. Coolio said, you can use my song, and Gangster's Paradise, which became Amish Paradise, and then Coolio turned around and tried to sue Weird Al over that, and he had no legal standing, and then there was, like, a big feud.
After he made the song, you can't, like, take it back after they do it.
Right, and also, again, it's covered under fair use, so there's no legal standing there.
Right, so maybe, I don't know, maybe it was, like, maybe, like, the more explicit versions of parody. Yeah. Like, maybe the rules change? I don't know.
I don't think the rules change with fair use. Fair use is fair use.
Yeah, I don't think that they would either.
So
I'm not sure. Or maybe he just did it to, like,
again, he's the president of ASCAP though, so ASCAP kind of
Yeah, like I mean, he should know that, but like I'm
sets
sure
the
he
rules a
did,
little bit.
and I'm sure he had more. He probably sued under the. I mean, if he no, well, he. I mean, could he have ASCAP sue directly? I mean, I guess he can, and then like he could just drain. He could just drain his wallet,
Yeah.
essentially. Which that's
Well, that's the thing
dirty, and
too, is
we've
that
you know we've
I mean,
had that situation where it was one or the other, and we like
right.
kind of had to we weren't going to get into debt, so that's why we did. That's why we had to change the name.
Well, and that's the thing too, is that even if there is no legal standing, it's still got to go through the courts, and that's going to cost tens of thousands of dollars in lawyer fees. And that's a lot of times what these threats are about, is like, oh, I'm going to sue you. And, someone like Blowfly, who's broke as it is like, well, I can't afford lawyers and all that crap. So I'm just going to stop. But again, I don't know what actually happened, because it doesn't say what the outcome of this legal case was.
Right.
If he actually had to like stop the distribution or censor it, like Dave Mustaine had to censor These Boots Are Made for Walking.
Yeah, I mean, it just kind of sounds like this Stanley Adams guy was just being a jerk.
Well, I mean, that's the music industry, especially in that time.
Yeah, I mean, if they think you're making money and they're not, then like they're gonna freaking like take you for everything.
Yeah.
Which it sucks, but that's that's just how it is.
Yeah. Well,
it wouldn't be the first time an artist got ripped off. Let's just put it that
right,
way.
Exactly. And again,
and
especially
will not
this
be the
time,
last.
Because this time you pretty much had to have the support of a major label to have any kind of success in the music industry. And when you did that, you literally sold your soul to the label. They had the rights to all your songs. You didn't have the rights to songs you wrote yourself. And oftentimes, this happened a lot in Motown with a lot of the R&B groups, is the producers would put their names, give themselves a songwriting credit on a lot of these artists' albums,
so
even if they had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Right, just so they can get the royalties.
Yeah.
And so it was,
and at the end of it, it's also like who would own the masters? Like the label would guarantee that they would own the masters, and that's really that's where your money is. If you own your masters, then you have the potential to actually make a comfortable living. Like if you own the masters and you end up being like a pretty successful artist, and you then because you own the masters, you pretty much are getting all of the royalties. So you're gonna actually make decent money. Like I forget who it was, but there was this guy who was like a rapper on Joe Rogan's show. Some white dude. He was like part of a rap group or something like that, and like I guess he branched off and did his own thing. But they were talking about like how the music industry sucks or whatever, and like how they just like how you don't get paid, and he was like, well, I get paid okay. Like they were talking about how like Spotify and just like gives the artist a very low percentage, so that's like laughable.
Yes.
And the other guy was like, well, I mean, they take more than they should, but like I do okay on there. And he's like, well, how do you do that? And he's like, well, I own my masters. Yeah. So like they have to give me the maximum of what they would of like what anyone can get. So it's not going. So like 90% is not going to the label. Let's just say for the sake of the argument that the label takes 90, which is not too far off from the truth.
Right.
The label takes 90% if they own your masters, because it's going to be in their contract. We get your masters, so we can do whatever we want with them. We can make as much money until the end of time, and you'll get the 10%. So like, thank you, fuck you, bye. And when you own your masters, you're getting the full 100. So like, even though you're still not getting, even though Spotify or the streaming platform or whatever is going to take the lion's share, you're still getting the full extent of what you're going to get. So like, if you get like let's just say you average about like 200,000 plays a day or something like that, then you're going to get all of like the little like pennies, and it's going to add up to like a good chunk of change.
Well, even then, you're only getting a fraction of a penny, even in that case. Like, I think Spotify's like their payment structure is so terrible. It's just that so many artists now, you pretty much have to be on Spotify to get any kind of exposure. So that's why like they just deal with it. They take the hit, and if you're someone like friggin' like Kanye West or something where you're getting millions of views or plays a day, then yeah, you're still making a decent amount of money because you're getting millions upon millions of plays.
Well,
but
that's
like
if he owns his masters. If he doesn't own his masters, then
even then,
I mean, he's still getting money.
Right,
he's still getting money.
He's probably getting so many plays a day on Spotify that even if he's only getting 10% of what the revenue coming in, it's still probably like millions of dollars, a month or a year.
Well, he's a billionaire, right?
Exactly, he's a billionaire. Yes, he is. He just became a billionaire.
Yeah, so he's been doing all right for a while, but like but like he's still like even him, he's still getting like ripped off badly if he doesn't own the masters. Which I mean, at this point, because like he has so much money that I would imagine he's bought the rights back to his own music, and
and I think he's also produced a lot of his own music, like and distributed through his own kind of thing. I think he owns his own label. I'm pretty sure.
Sure he does by now. But I mean, like his early catalog, I would imagine he bought the rights back.
Yeah.
Yeah, Blowfly, unfortunately, like most artists, like probably like the 99% of artists was not in a position to do that.
No. Yeah, and especially because again, he came up in that era where that was like the norm was to like basically sell your soul to the record companies.
Right. He was on, and I mean, he wasn't even on a big label. He was on like TK Records, which was an indie label.
Right. And I think when he did the punk thing,
and the label went bankrupt in the 80s, so
when he did the punk thing, he was on Jello Biafra's independent label, Alternative Tentacles. So I think if Blowfly had maybe come up in more modern times, he probably would have had a better chance of retaining the rights to his music because, it's so much easier now to self-produce and self-release albums because, of the advent of computers and, digital audio workstations like Pro Tools and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's still really tough to make a living, but
it's absolutely still hard, but it's possible to because now anybody can pretty much do it in their bedroom with like a cursory knowledge of those programs and basic recording practices. So it's definitely a different beast now than it was. You still have the major labels that rip people off, but it's a lot easier now to self-publish and not even go through a label anymore, And I think the music industry is fundamentally changing because of that. The major labels are still trying to squeeze whatever money they can before they know that the incoming collapse of the major label, the system. It's inevitable because of how everything is going digital. So they're trying to just squeeze every last bit they can out of whatever artists they can right now. But really, they're going to be irrelevant in the next 10 or 15 years.
Oh yeah. I mean, they we've seen it up to the point where when things first started to become digital, there was like it was just like Napster and just like file sharing, and now it's just evolved. It's evolved to to like publicly traded companies that essentially do the same thing, but they found a way for like the labels to make money as a part of it. But before in like the in between period, I would say like 2004 and like upwards, they like in order to get people to like buy CDs, they would have to add more things to it.
Yeah.
Which first they would add like DVDs where it was like either all the different parts of the documentary dispersed throughout a reissue of the catalog after they'd reissue the catalogs hundreds of times, or like there'd be like big box sets or whatever. But like they'd either include DVDs with it.
Yeah.
Or and that worked for a while until like everything went digital too with that, where like YouTube, somebody would just rip the documentary or just rip the concert that was on the DVD from buying the CD, Or like you could even like just download it because somebody would like rip it and you do like a Kazaa or a freaking Frost
LimeWire.
Yeah, LimeWire or FrostWire, one of those things, and you just download it. So then that stopped working, and then it was like, well, what do we do? I think even they went to like posters, they went to like all this bonus stuff, and then after a while it just didn't even matter because you're like, well, what do I care? I can just download all of it. And then, like, I don't know, I guess they, like, tried to put it behind paywalls, and then they tried to do all these other things, and, like, everything that the music industry did, it didn't, like, it just kind of staggered and, like, delayed it. Like, it kept sales, like, it had, like, little surges here and there, like, it kept, like, revenue, it kept some form of revenue coming in, but it was still, like, getting less. Like, you'd see maybe, like, a spike here and there, but it would, like, kind of balance itself out to still be lower because there was nothing they could do about it, and they're still not. Like, they even went back, they even went as far as like signing like more retro bands and then releasing like cassette tapes and releasing like, and then like
vinyl records.
And then vinyl had like a little comeback, which now I think it's like gone back to just people who collect vinyl.
Yeah,
and it's not necessarily a big thing. It's not.
Although they have vinyl at Walmart now in the music section, so
they do still have it. But I mean,
right,
I don't think
that's pretty.
I don't think the sales are what they were when they first started, like bringing vinyl back.
No.
You know,
like, well, it was a novelty thing. That's why.
Of course, all novelty things are only going to last as long as they last.
Right.
You know, or even like a digipack that would come with a T-shirt or whatever it was. They tried so many different things, and they worked for a little while, but it just kept.
Well, the smart bands
just delaying the inevitable.
The smart bands like kind of used piracy to their advantage. Like you take a band like Iron Maiden, who what they would do is they would look at the places where their music was being most pirated and then tour that country, because they knew that all those people that were pirating that music and streaming that music would come to the show and buy merchandise, and that's really where the real money was.
Smart.
So, yeah, that's like really, and a lot of bands will say that.
Did that too.
Yeah, a lot of bands will say that, like, you know, if you can't afford to buy the record, then at least come to the show and buy a T-shirt, because that we end up making more money from that anyway. You know, because they don't have to deal with the record company. Then the money's pretty much going directly into the band. I mean, the venue obviously takes a portion of it, but like for having your merch there, but most of it goes to the band as opposed to most of it going to the record company.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's a shame that Blowfly didn't come up in that era. He probably would have had a lot more success if he was, now, still alive now, born a little bit later and producing music now still. But, it is what it is.
Yeah. But, I mean, there's really not much that you could do. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if he would have like necessarily gotten a whole lot bigger. I don't think. I mean, he might have just still stayed where he was, because like it was.
Yeah, but I think he would have had more.
It was 2016 when he died, so like how much more? How much?
Well, I think
could he have potentially gotten?
I think he would have had more financial success, like because obviously he's was well known enough that he was working with all these big artists, but just wasn't reaping the benefits of that. I think he would have been more able to do that and parlay his his fame. Again, I never heard of him before this, but like kind of parlay that a little bit better and kind of make money off of it. And especially, again, now where you could release music without any kind of record company backing, I think that would have been, he would have had a lot of success with that. And, he was an older guy. So even, he did live until 2016, but he's an older guy. He probably wasn't, that aware of like the, being able to do it at home and self-release music and stuff like that. Cause
maybe
he didn't come up in that era.
Because, the other guy in his band, the guy, Tom Broker, his that was Tom Bowker or Bowker. That was his drummer slash manager. So like he would have known because he was like probably a little bit more. He was a little more in tune with things, and he was always thinking about more or less. I mean, this is just gauging from the documentary. He was
Yeah.
kind of like thinking, okay, well, I've got to plan his career and my career because my career
Right.
depends on his career. So I've got to figure out what are we going to do to make money, or like where are we going to tour to make money? How like what gigs are we going to do? When are we going to go to a new studio? How do we do this and whatever? So I think so I'm sure, and I'm sure like he's one of the people who like helped who could have helped put some of his catalog on there, or at least his more like recent stuff. And I'm sure Jello did it too and everything. So I don't think
Yeah.
I don't think he would have been left in the dark. I just think
Well, I
because
think it was just because he was an older guy. Like
yeah,
even like Tom Boker, his drummer, ran the Facebook page and stuff like that. So he probably really wasn't like didn't use computers as much. Probably didn't like if his drummer was handling his Facebook page and all that. I would say he's probably was just not as much into the digital aspect of music.
yeah. I mean, if they hired like a couple of marketing companies, they probably would have been all right. But like, I
Yeah.
don't know how much. I don't know how much money they had, or if they had the money to do that. And I don't know how much.
Right.
I don't know how much a full fledged marketing company costs. I know how much a PR campaign can cost.
Yeah.
But like for like just musicians, depending on who you go to, like it's
Well,
somewhere
marketing companies,
with
I think it's probably
marketing
a lot of
companies
it.
charge a lot
It's
more.
probably percentage based also. Like,
That could be
they
it
give you,
too.
10, 15% of whatever your gross sales are goes to the marketing company.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on which marketing company you use because they all have like their own pay
Yeah.
structures and strategies. Like some of them, it might just be like, like for 3 months, like $3,000, we'll do this, that, and the other thing, and we'll boost
Right.
your sales in 90 days, or or what, or like your money back, or some whatever it is that they do.
Hmm.
I'm sure a lot of it would just be like would be like just targeting and retargeting through Facebook ads.
Hmm.
That's kind of that seems to be the way that they've done it for a while, and I guess that they would be also doing it on Instagram and all that other stuff. They do like it's called like a funnel strategy.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm sure that's what they would have done, and that would have been made the most sense to do. But I don't know how much I don't know how much a place would have charged. I don't know who does it or anything like that, and I don't know how much money was really coming in for them to do so.
Yeah.
So who really knows? Or maybe Jello would have done it, and then they would have it would have been like an IOU, or he would have to take it out stuff. I don't really know, but
Yeah.
he might have been in a little bit better shape had he stuck around for another like 4 or 5 years and still been here today. But like
Hmm.
I don't know,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, on that note, why don't we listen to some couple Blowfly tracks?
Yes, good idea. And Jesus Christ, he's how many albums does he have? One, two,
Quite a bit. It was very prolific.
yeah, from like Jesus.
I mean, he was releasing like 1 to 2 albums a year for like 30 years straight. So.
Yeah, I mean, as Clarence Reed, like just
Hmm.
his first album, "Dancing with Nobody But You, Babe," was like 1969,
Yeah.
and he like released music until the year that he died,
Yeah.
which was called "77 Rusty Trombones," which he would have been seven, which he would have been 77, I guess, that year. Yeah, he was just a month shy of being 77.
Hmm.
February 14th was his birthday. Valentine's Day. That's cute. And January 17th. He also like a he dressed like what's been described as a low rent supervillain.
Yeah. He almost looks like a luchador.
Yeah. And he created the alter ego so that it wouldn't ruin his career as a songwriter. So if they like didn't so like that's why he wore the mask. So like if he performed as it or like when he was on the cover, because back then covers were pictures of the artist.
Hmm.
So he just wore this whole like outfit so that nobody would say, "Oh crap, that's Clarence. Let's not work
Right.
with him."
Yeah.
So it was smart for the time, and it's just funny that that ended up being like beloved years later.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's put on some Blowfly stuff. This one is all right. This is called Rap Dirty.
This is Blowfly, the master of class, and I'm here to suck some soul to your ass. Guys and girls, bull daggers and faggots is gonna rap in your ear till your ass get ragged. The world should end, I'd be under no strain. I'd blast right off with my dingling. Wanna rap to all of you motherfuckers about my best friend, those no good truckers. Riding down the road, carrying a load, feeling more sexy than a pregnant toad. Checking out the scene on my CB, cause I don't want no bears fucking with me. That's a big 10-4, good buddy. Yeah.
The music's pretty good in the background too.
Suddenly I see a blue light behind. Call it dickhead, check out my crack. I think I got a bear on my back. He's on my ass, and that's no joke. But I'm gonna leave that blue light motherfucker in the smoke. 10-4. City. Ha. 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 1, 2. That's it.
He's definitely got that early rap like flow, you know, to it.
Yeah.
Where it's almost like sing-songy, the rap, you know.
Yeah.
Check out this dick.
I think it's interesting that they called it soul talking.
Yeah.
While going around the car, doing about 80, looking between the thighs of some big pussy lady. While checking out the thighs of this fine hoe, I could tell she had a lot of ass below. But stopped up her head for a bite to eat. I said, hey, bitch, give me some of this fine meat. She said, I got it here, so come on with it. But just make sure you got enough meat to get it. I said, my hands are large and my prick is bigger. Just open up your thighs while I pull my trigger. Yeah. I grabbed the bitch by the hand and headed for the room. She had a fine body, but a face like a coon. She sat on the bed and pulled off her clothes. Now the funk on my pussy started fucking with my nose. Suddenly I find that it all was a waste, cause there was a big prick staring me in the face. I kicked it with my feet and hit it with my hand. What I thought was a bitch was nothing but a man.
Oh
and
my
you know
God,
what I did,
so
man?
Yeah.
I said, ooh. I said, ah. I said, ooh. Ah. Ooh. Ah. Ah. Ooh. I said, ah. I said, ooh. Ah. Ooh. Ah. Ah. And I got the hell out of there. That's what I did. So I grabbed my shit and got back in the truck. And I thought to myself, what the fuck? After messing up my day and spoiling my plans, I said to myself, I can still use my hands. Thought about the fine bitch I had back home, and suddenly I couldn't help but to play with my bone. Yeah. While riding to the state of Alabama, in a little town where I loved to ramble, I went in this bar, I said, what the heck? Motherfucker, no good redneck. Some asshole at the end of the bar said, hey, nigga boy, do you know who you are? I pulled out my dick and broke the bartender's glass, and I said, oh, you motherfuckers can't kick my ass. I remember what my daddy said one night. He said, niggas' pricks is bigger than white. But my black ass was in for a big surprise, cause that cracker's dick was 3 times my size. And of course, you know, that isn't a big 10-4. I said, bitch, don't y'all fail me now. Let's get the hell out of here. He said, boy, I'm gonna kick your ass till your head turn blue. There ain't nothing I hate worse than a nigger or Jew. I said, are you sure you wanna fuck with me? I'm a distant cousin to Muhammad Ali. Suddenly his big prick began to shrink. He said, come on, boy, let's have a drink. Those rednecks in the corner started getting up out of their seats, carrying big clubs, wearing white sheets. He said, listen, nigga man, I'm the Grand Dragon of the Ku Klux Klan. He said, there's no nigger better than me. Motherfuck you and Muhammad Ali. I threw my drink in his face and I started to run as I felt the lead from his shotgun. I got in my rig and covered up my face and I drove my truck through that motherfucking
No.
place. Hoes started to run with glass in the hair and Cracker's ass was flying everywhere. Yeah. The Grand Dragon was on the ground with his ass bloody, and I looked at him, I said, 10-4, good buddy. Yeah. I reached in the seat and grabbed a bottle of wine, and I looked in the mirror and said, I can't stand myself sometimes. And then I said, ooh, I said, ah, I said,
you know, I did watch the trailer for the documentary earlier today, and I saw that Ice-T was on the trailer, talking about Blowfly and like how his dad used to listen to Blowfly records. And I really could see like how like he kind of influenced Ice-T. Like Ice-T like has kind of like these like tongue-in-cheek songs like this on like his records too.
Yeah. Well, Chuck D from Public Enemy also speaks in the documentary, and he talks about how he was like influenced by him too, and he liked the way that he liked the flow of Blowfly.
Yeah.
So like that's kind of where you can hear a little bit of the way that he talks. Like,
yes,
like Chuck D has an interesting flow in himself.
Yeah,
where it kind of crescendos a little bit, and then he kind of just like yells at you for a moment.
Yeah,
and that's kind of like that's a little similar to some Blowfly stuff too.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is his earlier stuff. It's one of the things that he's like more known for. This song.
Yeah, this is one of his bigger songs.
Yeah. But the instruments are really good too. I mean, he's also there's also like it also kind of reminds me of Frank Zappa a little bit too. Like, he had some pretty good musicians to play in the background. But, like, they play some very strange music.
Yeah, with, like, silly lyrics.
Yeah, I mean, Zappa would be a good topic, too, one day. For, like...
Yeah. Yeah, Zappa is definitely, one of those, like, it's crazy that he was so successful, because it's just so bizarre.
Yeah.
What's this, like, Afro guy?
That I have no freaking idea. It's just, like, whatever the guy who, like, uploaded this video is. This is just his...
Oh, God.
I guess this is his, like, thing?
Yeah.
Maximelix? I don't even know.
Maximelix.
The first comment is, like, if you were actually alive when this song came out, like me, go ahead and hit the thumbs up button for still being alive right now.
In all caps.
All caps.
Oh.
Okay. Oh, Jesus. This is the guy's website. He's like some Italian dude who uploaded that.
We can sum up McDonald's new
Christmas.
Christmas.
What is this? Yeah, I don't know. I guess this is. I guess he just uploads like old
disco, old 80s disco, 70s.
Yeah, I don't know.
R&B.
Like, what does Google Translate want? And it didn't do anything.
His webpage reminds me of like an old friggin' like someone's like MySpace page from like 2006.
Yeah, it's all like it's like rainbow colored disco balls, like and like old stuff. I mean, what the hell is this? This is
it's all like HTML like coded like.
Yeah, this is like your most basic thing. I mean, it's on Blogspot, so like there you go.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell is it? I don't even know. Like, this is like the first GIF ever. Like, I don't know. All right, on air. Does he have like a show or something? I don't. You know what? I'm gonna step away from this. The next song. Okay, this is a cover of this is a parody of sitting on a dock on the bay, which is it's shitting on the dock of the bay.
Yes.
So this is the song that this is the first Blowfly song that I ever heard. Our good friend Chuck from Oregon showed us this. He showed me this song, and this is where like I don't even remember. I don't know if it was when I was visiting him or if there was just a time where like we were just going back and forth with stuff, and he sent it, and he like showed me this.
Yeah.
And like I just burst out, like we just burst out laughing. Because like first it was the album cover, and I was like, "What the hell is this?" And then and then I listened to it, and I was just like, "Good God, what?" Like I don't know what I'm listening to, but this is hilarious, and I love it.
It does have the parental advisory sticker, so maybe Blowfly did get hit by the PMRC, the good old PMRC.
Yeah, well, it's not the same sticker. It just says
No, it's a different sticker.
Like underneath it, it just says parental advisor, explicit lyrics, burn that good fun, or but
damn good
but
fun.
Damn good fun. Yeah, it does say but damn good fun. Oh, this is shitting on a dock of the bay.
Shitting in the morning sun. I'll be shitting here till evening come. I'm watching my turds fall in.
Oh, God.
That I take 'em back out again. Oh, I'm shitting off the dock of the bay. Watching my great big turds float away.
You know, I think I was reading that Afro Man was like influenced by him a lot too, and I could see that. Like this is, it's very much. This is like absolutely like something Afro Man would do. Like,
yeah. I mean, he played with our buddy's ego kill, so on multiple occasions.
Yeah.
Every time I have to use the bathroom.
Which is crazy for me. It's like this is like funny how like there's like such like a there's crossover fans with like metal and rap and stuff, and
Oh yeah.
I guess good music is good music. It doesn't matter what genre it is.
Exactly. I mean, that's the most important thing. Good music is good music.
Yeah.
I don't think my high school and like middle school self was discovering music for the first time. What the hell is that? I don't think they would have understood that like you can appreciate other genres too. Like I don't know. I was a really like I had a really cloudy mind when I was in like high school and middle school.
Yeah.
I'm so happy that it got opened up to like everything good.
Yeah.
Ask me what is this we playing? This is our theme song, baby. For the next show, I'm gonna sing the words to it. It's called Weird World for the Weird People. Second show, okay? Next, we're gonna do a thing by a young man that ain't been on the scene in quite a while. Mr. Major Lance. Gonna do a little thing was written by Mr. Curtis Mayfield.
I don't know what this is. I don't know if this was like a live album or if he was just doing it.
Yeah, I think it sounds like it's.
We call it the fart song.
It sounds like it could be a live album, maybe, or just it's recorded live, possibly.
Yeah.
It's actually like really good. It's
It
like
is good.
crazy because a lot of times parodies you don't like expect to be as good of quality like musically as the song that they're parodying, but these are like he's like this is actually like really good, like well done. Like the musicians are good. Like he's got a good singing voice. It's actually really good.
Yeah, I mean he's a talented artist.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Which is like. Again, I don't understand how I've never heard of him before because he is like so talented. It's not just like some underground guy that's like like outside art like we talked about with Wesley Willis.
Yeah,
he's like a legit dude. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, in the documentary, it shows him playing piano, and he's actually very good too. So yeah. I'm pretty sure he was probably doing keyboards on this album.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, what a talented guy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I've got like 3 others loaded up. I don't know if you want to do all 3 or if you want to just like do like one more.
Well, let's do one of his punk. Let's do one of his punk songs.
Yeah, I was thinking.
We kind of did his R&B thing. Let's listen to what he did his punk album, and again, which it's crazy that like the transition, like the eclectic nature of Blowfly, how he's doing. He started out doing R&B and like almost disco, like Casey and the Sunshine Band, then went to rap and also did a punk album. Like it's like what? I mean, there's always been some crossover, I think, with punk and rap. You had like the Beastie Boys started out as a punk band and went to rap, but like this is like, and then you had like Ice-T who started out doing rap and then went into like punk / metal with Body Count. So it's always interesting when you see that, and so but this guy, because he was like an R&B and he was an older guy, didn't get into punk until way later, like 2006, I think his punk album came out.
Yeah.
Like, this like crazy. It's like you would never expect it.
Yeah, it was like Blowfly's punk rock party.
Yeah.
Just, which one of his albums was just Blowfly's Party, also, I think, right? Like, yeah, Blowfly's Party was like 1980, and then he just came up with this one here. All right, which one should we do? I was trying to look for the one with Jello Biafra, R. Kelly in Cambodia, but I can only find a live album. So we've got I Want to Be Filleted, which is a parody of I Want to Be Sedated by the Ramones. There's also Suck It, which is a parody of Whip It by Devo.
Oh.
There's VD Party, which is a parody of Black Flag's TV Party.
That's hilarious.
I have no idea. There's another one of Should I Stay or Should I Go by The Clash, where it's called Should I Fuck This Big Fat Hoe? I don't even know. Yeah, I can't search for.
Try looking for R. Kelly in Cambodia.
Well, I did before,
on YouTube,
but it was only I did. It was only coming up as like a live recording.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Jello Biafra's on there. I don't know. Pick.
Hold on. Scroll down. I guess let's do I Want to Be Filleted.
All right. Good.
Yeah.
Oh no. This is terrible. This is amazing.
Yeah.
I think this guy over here in the Uncle Sam hat is Tom Bowker.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because he wore that on stage.
Yeah.
This is great. This is really great. I love this.
Yeah.
All right, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Shall we do another one, or do you think it's about time that we wrap this sucker up?
Let's do one more. Let's do Whole Man.
Whole Man? Yeah, this is all right. I was listening to this the other day and I was cracking up.
Yeah.
Like I was singing I was taking a shower just listening to Blowfly stuff. And,
that's hilarious.
Like I basically had to get out because I was afraid of like laughing so hard and like slipping and dying.
Slipping and dying. Yeah.
But this is a parody of James Brown's Soul Man, and it's called Whole Man.
Yeah. Y'all come on, put your hands together for me. Coming in, yeah, on a piece of wood. Lots of shoot off, got two nuts full. And when it's in you, you can have no fear.
apparently in the documentary, like, other people had talked about, like, I guess he was, like, cheating on his wife or whatever.
Yeah.
And, like, he had slept with a bunch of women in the 70s and 80s, and, like, he had gotten the clap a lot. Like, he'd just gotten gonorrhea, like, constantly.
Yeah.
And, like, he, like, would keep talking about how he needed to, like, how he needed to just, like, start doing anal more.
Oh, God.
Because, like, he believed that he just wouldn't get gonorrhea that way.
In a transit house, with a tit in my hand, and a pussy in my mouth.
Oh my God.
This dick of mine, baby, you can't beat it. And if your cut is clean, my drum will eat it. He's a home man. Lord, Lord, he's a home man. He's a home man. Stuff sure is good. Yeah. Look at here. Hey, you. Yeah, you over there in the green miniskirt. Will you put your dress down so my guitar player can do his thing right? I see you girls keep watching. I'm gonna introduce them in a minute.
I can't even see
But
the
first-
straight face whoever's talking.
We're gonna do a thing by the late but great Otis Redding. He had a record out, I'm sure y'all heard, called Dum Diddy Dee Dum Dum, the happy song. And you know we're not gonna do it that way. We call it Yum 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 Yum, the eating song. We're gonna do it something like this. Listen. Ow!
Alright, and that's about it.
It's really good. It's like really
No,
good.
it's-
I
they
would be
are
awesome
really
to see
good.
him live.
Yeah, I know. It would have been a lot of fun. He looked like he looked like he was a fun show from the documentary. Just like
Yeah.
all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, Blowfly. What a mensch.
Yep.
How many? He had like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He had at least like 20 to 30 albums and singles, maybe even more.
yeah.
Probably like closer to 40
Yeah.
that he recorded throughout his entire life. So I mean, he's got like
Plus, he had songwriting credits on a lot of different songs, also. So,
yeah. But yeah, Mr.
so it's pretty. I can't believe that I never heard of him before this.
and now you have, and
Yeah.
it's good.
Yeah, and it's good. It's pretty good.
Oh god. Closing statements. Blowfly was an awesome dude. I wish that I had gotten to see him live.
Yeah.
I wish I had gotten more into him while he was still alive, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I wish I had known about him
I
while
mean,
he was still alive.
I was only like I was 26, so like I had a good amount of time to like get into him and learn, and I didn't know anybody who knew him really.
Yeah.
I hadn't really met Chuck. Well, I had met Chuck, but yeah, I had met Chuck, but I think like by the time Chuck had introduced me to him, he had already passed. Because oh man, but it would have been.
It would have been awesome to see him live.
Yes, it would have been
Just based on like those like that live album he did. Like he's got a lot of energy and it's like it's pretty good. Like it's really good. His backing band is really good. He's a good musician. So, it's like I don't know. It's not to say that like Weird Al is a bad musician. Weird Al's a great musician too. But it's like I feel like a lot of times parodies, especially parodies where they're doing like dirtier lyrics, like end up being like not that good. And this is really good.
Yeah.
Like so.
Well, because he's not compromising the music.
No, he's doing the exact. And I guess it helped that he actually came up writing that kind of music and performing that kind of music before he decided to do the parody thing. So
right. I mean, I think it's just funny that like something that his grandmother like said to him when he was like 5 years old when he was just like doing this as like a joke to like piss off like white people.
yeah.
like ended up becoming the thing that would define him for the rest of his life. So like the idea was just always there, and he kind of like he never, it's like he never lost his inner child, and he just always remembered that moment and just said, I should probably do, like, or like the idea was just always, it always stayed with him, and he pursued it. And I think that was what was so beautiful about his career, even to his to his weird like get up, and he like just turned it into a character, and this was the thing who he was. And you know, off stage, just from the documentary itself, it seemed like he was a very nice, humble guy.
Yeah. So it's a shame that he didn't have more success in his life, you know, but
well, a lot of artists don't.
Yeah.
But they leave behind a body of work forever that, you know, people are going to enjoy for years after their death. Like centuries in some cases. I mean, it'll be there forever. It'll be there as long as it'll be there as long as someone can get a hold of it.
And I think a big part of his legacy is the fact that all the artists that he inspired, like the rappers, and you know, that you could clearly hear the inspiration in like Ice-T and like you said before, Chuck D, and you know, I think that kind of like is more valuable than anything. You know, the fact that he's been an inspiration to so many, and like really, you know, kind of defined that, you know, a genre almost with that, like, you know, early rap style, you know, doing it before anybody else really. So.
Right. But I encourage all of you people who are out there in digital media device land listening to us, and, you know, who maybe you don't know Blowfly before this, or you didn't know Blowfly before this, or maybe you did know him and you just appreciate that somebody else is talking about him. There's the Disney and Pixar movie Coco, where it's like about like the Mexican Day of the Dead, and like this and this kid's trying to like revive somebody in the spirit world by like bringing their memory back before they like disappear. And I think Blowfly is essentially somebody who people will keep telling stories about him, and his spirit is going to live on for a very, very long time. So you beautiful people who are listening in, and you know, go listen to Blowfly after this, or like before or during, or like whatever you're doing next. Show your friends, show your family all this cool stuff, all of his music, and like just have a really good time. And you know, if you can watch the documentary, The Weird World of Blowfly, it's really cool. It's about an hour and a half. It goes by pretty quickly. I encourage each and every one of you to check it out. It's on YouTube, and you can probably find it on any other streaming device or service or player, whatever it is. It's a lot of fun, and I wish that the guy lived a little bit longer, and we could see what, you know, the new dawning of the digital age of music would bring for his career. But I don't have a whole lot to add. Have you got anything else on here?
No, I think that's pretty much it. I think, you know, just go listen to Blowfly.